Hello and welcome to the Aaron Roussos podcast. Today's podcast topic is pretty simple. We're going to hone down a little bit on what they call protection. And when I say what they, I only mean what I. Because obviously the level of understanding, awareness, and obviously consciousness, which is quite simple in the greater schemes of things, but obviously to a humanly conditioned person like yourself, where you're pretty much just in survival mode or on surface level understanding of things, or just thinking that life is something and you don't critically think and actually stop and go, hang on a minute, something doesn't add up here. That's a feeling, right? To get to a state of questioning life itself is a feeling of something isn't right. And back on my journey, it's been quite an interesting, just totally not what you would understand things, or how things could be possible, and that's okay. And if you want to stay where you are, that's okay as well. But what I'm continually finding is that people want, let's just say, use our topic of today for example. People want protection. Okay, and the level of protection and what is available and what I'm going to tell you now and what I've seen and experienced, because nothing that I share on any of my podcasts is anything but the deepest understanding that I have seen, witnessed, and can share, so that you can have a practical application as well, even if it's spiritual. There has to be something landing. There has to be something that you can see before I can share it with you. So we're going to use the example of protection available. Now, there is, say, in my general day-to-day things, there's a lady that is over anxious about her children, and she tries to wrap them in cotton wool, stops them from having experiences and growing freely as they should, and what should be natural and what should also be the best possible outcome for those children. Now, the very thing that creates anxiety for this mother or father or parent, we'll make them a non-generic parent. A thing that makes them anxious about what possible things, obviously if their nervous system's in the survival mode through watching all the horrific news and current affairs and things that happen on the news, then, even though they're quite a small percentage of things, well, then what's going to happen is they will get quite anxious. And someone like myself can explain to that person that, I don't have that problem because I have a level of protection. And the protection isn't what you think. And obviously it's going to get wiped out by 80% of the population, because they go, bit of woo-woo, spiritual, or stuff that doesn't land every time, stuff that we can't rely on, stuff that I don't want to get out of my comfort zone to explore. So you lose 80% of the population there. So that spiritual, that even though it's practical, even though it's logical, even though you can get assistance, it's not what you want. It's not where you get your education from. It's not how you learn normally. And so therefore we have a bigger problem that basically is the growth and the growth of a person and becoming more aware, becoming, we know that no one likes being uncomfortable. Change is quite traumatic to the human being in this world, and that's conditioned into them. And look, you don't even understand that. So am I wasting my breath even fucking talking about what sort of protection is available if no one will get uncomfortable to be able to make that change within themselves to get that? And look, it's not always going to be the way. It wasn't always the way for me until I understood it. For years I've been moving in different circles and been quite alternate, quite open to all sorts of things, and I'd heard the term protection. There was a lady even who had a course on protection, and I wanted to understand what it means for me. And to do that, you need to understand what the mechanics of life holistically is. Now, here on Earth, we look at the 3D, the physical. We trust the system that is designed for broad application. It's designed to keep us, quite good customers. There's an economic lever attached to it, which means there's going to be money involved, which means it can be corrupted. There's a whole lot of things that can go wrong and not a lot that can go right in our systems. So to understand what protection is available, firstly, you need to understand that it's nothing like what you're ever going to think that it is, okay? You have no idea. If you're even having to look and go looking for what mechanics or how I could be protected, you need to have a bigger awareness about life in general. So all those sayings that have been around for many, many years, I'm not talking about something that's new, is that all the protection is support and guidance is available to you. And it does come from a yogi, from a spiritual place, from an understanding of the mechanics of life itself. Life itself is a lot more than you think. Just because we're dealing with the physical here, just because you're educated in a physical system, just because you're treated by a doctor and science in a physical, doesn't mean there are other elements to it. And we all know that those elements outside of that are starting to reap some amazing results and do assist. And they're integrated. They're not separate to the physical. But we all think that we have to drop one thing to get another because that's our conditioning here on Earth. So the mother goes, all right, well, what's this protection thing that's available? And I go, well, look, how energy works, and I've got a book that explains all of this energy, where it comes from, how it works, and all the rest of it, is that our intuition is linked to something of how we work, which is part of energy, which means that we can have very clear signs, synchronicities, downloads, intuitive thought, all of these things that are available that can move us out of the way of harm. It can move harm out the way of us. It can halt us up so that we don't run into harm. It can give us signs to make us think, hang on a minute, am I walking into something that doesn't feel right? And we have all the alarm signs, the bad, ill feelings, the intuitive thought. the intelligence of the universe that can move all of this around and provide protection. Now, I guess the way that you feel supremely confident about this protection is you go on a bit of a journey yourself to understand it all, and then you feel it. And it's a different way of learning once again, but it forms a knowing. But then you get to a point where you can supremely feel confident that you are protected in such a way that you would never get into, certain accidents because you've asked this intelligence that is the energy of all existence to provide, that protection to move you out the way to get it. It's intelligent, right? It's way more intelligent than you are. This energy, way more intelligent than you are. In fact, your level of intelligence is, I think humans are ranked about 67th on the planet as far as intelligence goes. So we have this protection, and it's a little bit like alignment. Certain health discoveries I've found was through alignment, not through treatment, not through interaction, or not through, treating a problem, more so getting out of the way so that the body can just do what it does naturally in an optimum state. And we see results that we've never seen before on the planet. So you're not looking at these ways. You've never been a deep enough thinker to even go down these paths to get to this level of understanding. Yet you'll laugh and ridicule someone like me who is. And yet you're the one that can have a head-on crash or run into a lot of possibilities in the field of an accident, whereas I don't. I feel quite good and confident where I am, as long as I'm aligned to receive that. I have no problem in knowing that I've got this form of protection for what is no good for me, what doesn't serve me. I'm going to make less mistakes because I'm more protected. I'm going to not have periods and accidents of chance where you're open to it. You can drive out today and get into an accident and die. I don't have that ability. I don't have that because I'm protected. And yet you're the one that laughs at me. Do you understand this? Your form of ridicule is firstly because you don't understand something, and then the human that is conditioned is quite happy to ridicule someone that has something that could ultimately save their life. Now, this has been around for thousands of years. This is not a new thing. I've only just found out about it in the last few years doing some work myself. So what I'm saying to you is the very parents that want to protect their children, that can provide protection for their children, that can align with this energy of the universe that runs through everything, that's anxious about it, has the ability to tap in and order this protection. you can, you hear a lot of spiritual people. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. In most of what I do, I understand that I had to go through the phase of that I guess spiritual woo-woo that doesn't land, and I had to put it into practical application so that I could see it work every single time. Now, this isn't the only benefit of that being aligned, whether it be being completely in control of your health. So I now can hand on heart say I'm in control of my health. I know how we work. I know more than anyone else on the planet, out of 8 billion people, how the human system works. And I cannot die of cancer. It's fucking impossible. Even the most aggressive, most out of control cancer, I know how to align with the natural system at optimum that takes care of that. No one else can say that. Someone died last minute, last hour, last day that you know in your circles or on your social media from a terminal cancer diagnosis. I don't have that problem. But guess what? If I try and help one of those people, and trust me, I've tried back in the day, they will ridicule me and laugh at me for being able to be in control of my health, and then to help someone that has a terminal and say, look, I can guarantee that you will not die of cancer. There's no one else on the planet that can give that guarantee. And then I give you the absolute program, 14-day protocol of how to do that, step by step, recipes, every single checklist, everything that you have to do to make it that you cannot die of a terminal cancer diagnosis on my website for free. And people look at it. I've had people that are now passed on, and it's heartbreaking, but I used to get quite emotional about it. I used to get angry about it. Now I've just had to accept it as not my problem, because I've presented everything online that anyone can test in the whole world today. So you want protection? Different story. You want to be in control of your health. All of this is part of a bigger picture, and it's something we call mastery. We are mastering being human beings on Earth. What would be if there was an award, if this whole Earth was a school, what's the end game? It's to master coming down here and, like Groundhog Day, the movie, if you're familiar with that, you come down here and you master being a human being on Earth. You master your health, everything. So there's a form of protection that's available that is completely, one day in the future when, everything gets worse before it gets better. But one day in the future, we go, fuck, that guy knew what he was doing. It's littered throughout history the way things get merged and discovered, and how long between the discovery point and when it gets and how it goes through, and the early adopters, and then crossing the chasm, and then mass acceptance, and then common knowledge. And this is no different. In the future, whether it be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, this stuff that I'm telling you about will be completely and utterly known. It's guaranteed. We're definitely heading down that direction. How the time that it takes to get there is entirely up to the collective on the planet. When they stop laughing, or when things get so bad that they stop laughing and go, hang on a minute, let's have a look at what he's got. And when they have a look and they go, oh, it's all there, it's all been free for 8 years now, and no one in any position of authority that is responsible for the humanity's health or community or governments or people that, put on their front door, we're raising billions of dollars to find the cure for this, but they haven't done a fucking single thing in 50 years with every resource on the possible planet and every bit of money and the greatest minds working for them. So I'm sorry, but fuck you. You haven't got it right. And I guess we see that littered throughout humanity. You go to a doctor and they think they know it all. A general practitioner, you're just trying to help, or you're trying to be a down-to-earth human being and ask questions, and they look down on you because they get paid more than you. They can drive a BMW and they went to school for a few extra years to be indoctrinated into a medical system that was designed to make money. The medical system wasn't designed to get the best possible outcomes for human beings' health and integration holistically. That is what it should be. And once again, and this is where, when you're humanly conditioned or brainwashed like you are, this is where this brainwashing comes in. They go, oh, fuck, he's having a go at doctors, having a go at this, the medical system and that. The people that are within it don't know any better. It is not them. They are beautiful people caring for other people. They've actually gone out of their way to have a life and choose a job or a career that cares for other human beings on their worst day. I'm not saying that's bad at all. I'm saying the system's fucked. And I'm saying the system's fucked and you all accept it. And just like whether it be anything to do with life, we're holistic beings, right? Body, mind, spirit. Body, mind, energy. There is no part of us that works in isolation. Those three parts are integrated together. So why the fuck are you only trying to fix the physical part and expecting to have outcomes? That's why we've spent 50 years and $1 trillion and millions of the greatest minds trying to cure or find the answer to cancer, and they've never done it. That's fact. Am I the only one to fucking see the plainly obvious in front of our faces? How fucking stupid are we? How stupid have we become to absolutely believe, take it, hook, line and sinker, everything that we see on the fucking TV, which I call the idiot box, and then to turn around and defend that with no proof whatsoever? I'm not even asking you to believe me. Question everything I say. Test everything I say. And if you do, you'll find a new truth. But at the moment, you're quite happy to believe things, and it doesn't even matter if it's from your family. They're brainwashed. How relevant is your grandparents' ways of living or educating? Or no, it's outdated. Outdated. It's on my top. Outdated. And so when things become outdated and we're living from them, then we are limited. And when we're limited, people die. So you can imagine me watching the news every night. Well, I hadn't watched TV for years, but I'm staying somewhere at the moment where they've got a TV. And they like to You know, their nervous system is wired into watch the news and see what fear can help sustain the survival mode in their body and their nervous system, and keep them, you know, clocking back in to see who's died. When celebrities, local people in our community that die of terminal cancer, that would never ever be a possibility if they knew me. So, you know, my organisation does mental health, suicide prevention, and homelessness. 3 things that are quite personal and close to my heart. Someone just died, came on TV, suicide. Now, they can't advertise that someone jumped off a building and caused all this stuff because they think that it sensationalises it, and the media have put a ban on this for years, saying that they're not going to sensationalise it in reports and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Someone's gone, I'm fucking checking out. And I've put on my website something that if a person was suicidal, having suicidal thoughts, or going to do it, if they did this 14-day program, they would never want to do that again. Does anyone try it? No. So I've got to fucking switch on the news every night and listen to someone else dying of suicide. I've got to put it on the news every night and see someone else dying of a terminal cancer that does not exist in my world, that does not even come into calculations of something that is possible in my world, because I understand the holistic nature of a human being, the mechanics of how it all works, and how a human being already knows how to heal, but we've never had the system running at optimum for it to be able to heal everything and naturally align to the system that is a human being. But yet I'm the one that is ridiculed. So I should be happy, shouldn't I, that I get to wake up every day and say I'm in control of my health, and my family won't. Well, I'm going to say this bit as well as a bit of a disclaimer. Me and my family, I'm talking about, and my close friends, will never die of an accident through the protection, but I'm probably overwhelming you too much with too much truth anyway in one situation, and your cognitive dissonance is fucking got your back up and you're trying to defend all this shit anyway. But no one in my world will die of terminal cancer because I know how to completely and utterly reverse it. Now, in the protocol for the 14 days, more than 50% of it's food. If they can't fucking eat food, there's a problem, right? There's other ways to combat it, but at the end of the day. Now, if they're too old and they're on 20 different pills a day, and they're old school, mentally you can't fucking get them out of it, they're too scared, they trust their doctor, they don't want to do it. That's fair enough as well. I'm not here to ask someone who doesn't want to do something to do it to save their life. Okay, I don't give a fuck. I'm here to say this is what I've found as a human being, just like you. I feel quite responsible to share it with you. I think it would be irresponsible not to share it. It's there if you want it, right? Because I don't want to force feed, or I don't want to have to stand up, because that makes you look crazy, right? When you stand up going, you guys have all fucking got it wrong, even though you have. Because what's building resistance is resentment. What's building resentment is ridicule. What's building ridicule is you not understanding, because you're humanly conditioned. This journey started for me when I was a teenager. I met a numerologist and he said, mate, this is physics. This is the laws of nature. But there's a couple of things. This is when I was 16. He said, but there's a couple of things that can affect that. And I'm like, what could affect the physics of the world? And he said, free will. Anyone can do whatever they want, change their mind and do it tomorrow. And human conditioning. That was my first lesson when I was 16. And it to be so relevant today, that you are conditioned. You go through an education system that has so much repetition for 13 years to make you a compliant, willing, I don't know what you are, participant in this, this world. It doesn't teach you to critically think. Doctors are separated in silos. Anyway, I'm just going over all this old shit that is all in my books and on my website and all the stuff that's available should you wish to understand what I understand. So I don't want to keep trying to say, hey, save your own life. Every person on the news that dies of cancer, and I'm talking about young people, okay? Old people are pretty fucked. When it comes to, but imagine being humanly conditioned for like 70 years, right? And you've got built up it's impossible. Old people are old ways, old shit, too much conditioning, very hard. I have met exceptions to the rule. I met a lady in Narooma at the end of last year. The start of this year, sorry. Now, she was old. She broke the template for old people being humanly conditioned. She got sick, and what happened was through, usually through trauma or a huge life event, near-death experience or something like that, she had such an awakening that she went looking for the very truth that I speak of about cancer, and she healed herself before I could even get to her through not being so set in her ways. Everyone else just cops whatever they can take, and I've had to get rid of numerous podcasts to try and integrate with government and primary health networks and funding and research fellow universities and all this stuff, to take all my spiritual stuff off there, so that they didn't go, oh, this guy's too far out there. But at the end of the day, it's integrated, right? Body, mind and spirit is all one, and each piece and part actually affects the other. So and the thing is, the stuff I'm sharing with you as well is only one way, okay? There won't be 4 different ways that you will be able to get rid of terminal cancer and illness and stuff. The way that I've showed you is the only way to naturally align with the actual human system, the being, and it's proven to get results, and it's all on my website for free. But in 1,000 years, it'll still be the same way. Consciousness does expand, but you can't even get your head around the basic shit I'm sharing with you. So why would I go and tell you about a whole new spectrum of possibilities that we're heading towards when we're at toddler level of trying to understand? I mean, we still go to war and kill human beings. Like, how fucked is that? We still can sit here in our car, live in our beautiful house with all the technology and business and this and care and all that, and we still go and kill people. That tells us, if you look at the human as a human and go, all right, mastery's where it's at. What's the end game? Where are we ascending to? What's we're at our infancy. We're probably not even a toddler. We're probably babies, newborn babies, as far as the level of human decency goes, to what we do to other human beings, to being completely brainwashed and humanly conditioned to not question and ask critical questions, and not critically think, we've just had someone flying around the moon, spending $1 billion or so. We don't know the real reasons behind that. Once again, you're not at a level where you can even begin to understand it, but you're happy to turn it on and fucking, oh, look at the fucking pretty lights in space. You can't even understand the basics of reality and question anything. And so we'll spend $1 billion, but yet we've got people living in tent cities on the streets, starving, with no capacity to get services or help. It just doesn't add up, right? We've got a cost of living crisis where there's never been any, such bad cost of living crisis in this country and all around the world. And so the government turns around and goes, oh, we're going to spend $20 million on a campaign on how to budget your petrol better and how to get more mileage out of your petrol and stuff. That makes sense, right? What we don't think, hang on a minute, we've just had a pandemic, and 5% of everything we spent on the pandemic would have housed every homeless person on the earth for the next 20 years. But we don't think about that. We don't critically think at all. We accept. It's like when I first came up with this and people went, what? You've got the cure to anxiety. I said, yeah, I did it myself, and it's not a treatment as such, but da, 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 da. And then I explained to people, and you know what the first thing they say to me is, wow, you're lucky they didn't kill you. And I'm like, who's they? Why would they kill me? So everyone, without being educated, without anyone formally saying something, whether I'm in far north Queensland or whether I'm in Europe or whether I'm in America, or whether I'm down in Tasmania, when I share the same story, they say, wow, you're lucky they didn't kill you. Now, they is the people that control money, right? They are the ones that make billions of dollars, trillions and squillions and billions of zillions of dollars, but can only do so if you are sick and dependent and reliant on them. It's a relationship of dependency. See, since I've healed myself, I'm no longer dependent on going down and getting my medication, on taking it every day, on spending that money, then all the offshoots of expenses that go with having a disease, that's all gone. And everything in my life has improved. The way I make decisions improved, my clarity improved, my cognitive function improved, my overall health in other conditions improved. I'm no longer dependent like you are. You're all dependent on that system, that mechanism of dependency. It's like a trauma bond with the system. And then why would every single person I tell think that I would be killed for this information? Why do they think that anyone that comes up with a discovery that would help humanity, that would save sick people, that is your brother, your sister, your uncle, your niece, your nephew, your cousins, why would someone that comes up with that could save them, their life, needless suffering, improve their life beyond reasonable doubt, why would someone kill someone like that? And why would everyone know it? Why would everyone say that? That's a pretty fucked up world, if you ask me. If someone who is openly, pure heart, don't want anything back for it, giving it away freely to help humanity so that people don't suffer, so that people aren't in pain, so that people don't have poor quality of life, and so that millions of people don't die that you're related to, and let's just kill that person. What sort of a world do we live in if that's the norm? Because when I'm talking about norms, I'm talking about this gets spoken about, and the same comment gets brought up to me all the time. Now, I'm going to tell you something about collective programming and human conditioning. There's been occasions where, many years ago, where I thought, I'm going to test this. I'm going to say the same ridiculous, out there comment to a whole broad range of people that I don't know. And would you believe that these tests or exercises that I did, people were saying the exact same thing back to me? They don't know each other. They all live in all different parts of the world. But when I bring up something that challenges that belief system that they have been presented collectively on the planet, they all say the same thing. A couple of word variations in some countries and places. Now, that's a form of brainwashing, collective brainwashing across the whole planet. That if I said something, the same thing, to complete strangers, they all answer with the same thing. You can't see this because you've never fucking come up with anything. You can't see this because you're in survival mode. You're the most selfish, pig fucking me person that don't give a fuck. You hardly give a fuck about your own family. You're so self-centered that it's not funny. But you don't realize that the more that you think and operate in the mindset of what's good for me is good for everyone, and you want everyone to do well, that you actually get 10 times more than you ever would by being selfish. That's energy. That's mechanics. And so if you look around, it's just one big me. You know, when I look around sometimes, I just don't look at... I can hear the conversation, but it's like me. Then over here it's me. Me. Look at me. I'm me. I want that. I need that. You can see it in the language. You can see it in behaviours. You can see it in everything. You know, when you go to work and you clearly, like I've worked in some bigger organisations, sporting grounds, convention centres, showgrounds, thousands of employees. And the managers, one thing that I find fascinating is that managers work for a company, and say the company is called Joe Blows. Well, Joe Blows has a certain way to do things. Joe Blows has, intellectual property. Joe Blows has this. Joe Blows has that. But then the manager goes, oh, I want this, or I did this, and see what I did. There's a lot of I language in some of these big organisations when it should be, this is the way we do it here. Not I. It should be we. So that selfishness just flows over into work and into some of the biggest organisations in the world. And it looks like one big dysfunctional fuck up, and it is. But so is our health. So is most of the man-made diseases and conditions that we don't even know we're giving ourselves is a form of dysfunction. And the ability to attack that is dysfunction, because from what I've seen and what I give to you for free that you can test on my website is that the mechanics of it is that your body already knows how to heal itself. If you cut it, it heals. But to what level does that healing go? We don't know, because what's a human being at its optimum state? Have we ever seen it? How does it look? Oh, we don't know, because we only deal with the physical. We separate all those parts out. So this guy, Aaron, puts it all together holistically, looks at every single point, and from a humanistic at optimum, and then shows you how to align to that. He did it with himself in 2018, and a chronic anxiety disease that he had for over 8 years completely cured itself. His body just did it. It just, because it knows how to heal, right? We just haven't created the right conditions for it to be at optimum to do that. So it does it itself. No, it's not what you are looking for. You're looking for treatments. It's not the way you've been, designed. You have to do it yourself. You can't get someone to give you a pill that'll fucking fix everything because you're a lazy, selfish prick. No. You just have to invest a little bit in yourself, which then fucking improves every single part of your life. But no, you fucking laugh at me. What sort of a fucking world do we live in, mate? And then when I do share it with you, you go, wow, you're lucky to be alive, that they, whoever fucking they are, haven't fucking killed you. Well, I fucking hope that they do fucking kill me so I don't have to put up with all your fucking shit out there again. They haven't got balls to show themselves. They, you guys don't understand that the people that do the most heinous, terrible things are also the ones that don't get caught. You can be a faceless coward and take advantage of lots of people, and that's okay. Because these people, they don't have self-conscious. They might be narcissists. There's lots of reasons. We're things go in fucking lots of ways, aren't they? And you haven't even fucking got out of fucking wanting to feed your face and fucking watch TV. Duh. So really, it's now down to, if it's out there and it's available, even if the system doesn't want to give it to you, because, we don't even realise we're so accepting of all this stuff. And look, if you want to be a dumb fuck, that's your choice now. Okay? But don't complain about it. That's the other thing I see every day. Dumb fucks that just want to complain about shit that they could change. It's like, are you for real? I understand everyone's brainwashed. I understand that, you weren't trained to think. It's like there's things that doctors aren't taught. Psychology. They aren't taught mindfulness. They're not taught nutrition. They're not. But what I'm telling you, to align a human being, homeostatic alignment, to align that is using all of those things. So it's the best of everyone. But a doctor can't even understand it because they don't even understand anything outside their own synthetic medication side of things. So what do? Sorry, too hard basket. Even the greatest professors don't have capacity to understand the greatest discovery of our time. Yet any one of them could go to my website, get someone who's sick, do it for 14 days, right? And see what happens. They can't even do the basics of that, because then they'd be like, oh, no one knows better than me. I'm the goat. I'm the one with the fucking God complex. I'm the one that drives the fucking Beamer. Not this fucking, that world has been created by greed, so anyone could try it. If you know someone that's like sick and dying and they've got no possible improvement or things that could help, just put them on the program and see what happens. Anyway, I've got to go. Ciao.